Hey, and welcome back to my channel, Just Booking Around. This is Amber, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my most recent book haul. So all the books that I've just recently purchased since my last video. First, I wanted to get into my weekend a little bit. I went and watched 2 movies this last weekend. I watched the BFG and I watched Tarzan. Now, BFG, it was okay. It was different. I haven't read the book, so I wasn't familiar with the storyline or the language, and so it was a little different. It dragged on for me just a little bit. Tarzan, however, I love him. I'm in love with Tarzan. I was just like, what? I think my jaw was on the floor. I kind of drooled just a little bit throughout the movie. He is flippin' hot. He's gorgeous. And what I love the most about him, okay, I'm just going on about him, is the way he like talks with his eyes. I find that so attractive. But he doesn't have to say anything. He can just like give you a look. Yes, no, maybe. I loved it. I was like, oh, why can't I be Jane and an actress right now? So anyway, heartthrobbing movie. It is a good movie though, but he just made it perfect, and I love it, and I'll probably buy it and just like freeze frame it on my TV so I can just stare at him all day. I'm not creepy, okay? All right, now to the books. Next, okay, so one I'm going to share with you is actually an electronic book. What? Right? It is the Clockwork Scarab. I'm reading it on an electronical device, and that's for the biannual Bibliothon reading challenge that I'm doing this week. One of them was to read a book that you don't typically read, like a different format, and so that would be this. I don't read electronical books. It's just I like having a paper copy. I love smelling the paper. I love looking at it on my shelf and being like, oh, my book. But you can't really do that on an electronical thing. And electronical stuff advances and evolves and changes. For example, I got the Color Nook like years ago, and I haven't used it, and I took it into the bookstore, and they were like, oh yeah, that's old. Oh, okay. They don't use it anymore. You just use the app now. So I was like, see, this is why I don't invest with electronical stuff. We just spent money on something that now you don't even need. It's obsolete. You can still use it, but you can just use your cell phone. So I busted out my little tablet here, and I loaded the Nook app and the Kindle app, and I got it on that. So I learned something new. So thank you to the very helpful, cute bookstore boy that helped me figure that out. Whoops. Okay, the next book that I got, and I am actually not going to give you guys the synopsises on these books because I have done that in the past, and I have given an incorrect synopsis. I read it wrong, or I interpret it wrong, because sometimes these synopsises are a little bit vague, and so you're trying to like figure out what the story is about. So for example, this book I did that with, gave the synopsis and I was wrong. Sorry. I said that her mother was the politician. Well, that is not right. Her mother actually has passed away. She's not even in the book. It's her dad that's the politician. So I decided after that I was not going to do that anymore. When I read the book, I will give you all the deets, or when I do my wrap up for the month, if I happen to have read that book for the month, then that's when I'm going to get in and talk to you about it, because then I will have the knowledge about what the book's about, because guess what? I read it. So I am not going to do that anymore. So my next book is The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. This is also part of the biannual Bibliothon reading challenge that I'm doing, and it was also a great summer book that I picked up. Although, I don't know, I'll give you my thoughts on it. The next book that I got is Torment by Lauren Kate. This is book 2. First book is Fallen that I read this last month, and so I wanted to pick up book 2 and see how the story continued. This cover is so cool. It's like velvety. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but it's not like that silky soft feel. It's like that velvety, I don't know, but it's so cool. I'm like, oh, I'm just like rubbing it. I'm gonna rub it to death. Next book is City of Glass. This is book 3 in the Mortal Instrument series by Cassandra Clare. Next is My Lady Jane. This is written by 3 authors, Cynthia Hand, Brodi, Ashton, Jodi, Meadows. Now, I'm probably going to put a target on my back for saying this, but I do not like the cover. Which is a shocker for me because you guys know I love book covers. I'm like obsessed with book covers. And I don't like this one. To be honest, I actually saw this in the bookstore a while ago and I was just like, I don't like the cover. I'm not going to pick it up. I know, I'm a visual person, I can't help it. So, but I've heard other people talking about this book and giving it good praise, and so I thought I'll read it anyway. We won't look at the cover, and we'll go from there. Look, we'll just look at the pretty purple cover, but I'm anxious to read it. Okay, next book is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee, and I don't know how to say the last name. I don't want to butcher it. Isn't she so pretty? This is another cute cover. And this is one of those cool velvet books. That's what I'm going to call them. I'm going to call them the Velvety books. That's my new name for them. And I'm excited to read this. This is a series and this is the first book. The next book is actually an eye candy book. I was walking by at the bookstore and this was sitting on a display and I was like, oh, he's hot. Swords. Demon-looking vampire-y thing. I don't know, but can you see his eyes? They're green. They're like glowing green. I'm pretty sure he has to have a tattoo. I don't see one, but I'm giving him one in my mind. This is a huge, heavy, thick book. I'm excited to read it though, and I'll tell you what it's about after I read it. My next book, which is another big, heavy book, is Lady Midnight. I know this is all over, so you've probably seen it and heard it, or you've probably even read it yourself. That's why I'm reading the Mortal Instruments series, so that I have some background knowledge when I read this book, and I'm excited to read it because I've heard so many good things about it, and I love the cover. What? I would love to try to reenact this cover, but I'd probably drown myself. Because that's the kind of look I have. My last book is actually a box set and it is heavy. But what? Look at it. Yes, that's Hogwarts. Oh, I seriously have got to work out. Look at the back, the side. Now, I've seen people comment about this on my Instagram feed and they were saying that I think this is the Russian edition of this box set, and some people are saying that they have the UK version, which I think has some stars on it. I haven't looked it up to see. And then I've obviously seen the American version. That's what I'm most familiar with. But I thought that's so cool that different countries have their own different like cover and edition of the box set of the Harry Potter books. So I thought that would be kind of fun to collect them, and I would have to probably have a whole wall in my house just full of Harry Potter box sets from all the different countries. I mean, I don't know how many there are, but I thought they were really cool. The covers of the books are pretty, and guess what? They're velvety. I love it. I love that they're velvety. I don't want to read them because I don't want to like bend the pages in any way or mess them up. I know I'm a freak about my books. I really am. I'm very, very gentle with them. Luckily, the lady at the bookstore, there was the one that I picked up, and the other one, the edges were torn and bent, and I saw one in the back counter, and I was like, will you please exchange that for the good one for me? And she was so nice and did it for me. So thank you to the very sweet bookstore lady. You gotta have connections at your bookstore. All I can say is you gotta have connections with your bookstore peeps. Okay, so that wraps up my book haul for the month of July. No, not really. I'm sure I'll get more. But as I get more books, and then I'll do another haul. Roughly 10 books or so, and then I'll do another video for you. So if there's any book suggestions that you have for me, leave them down below. I will link all these books down in the description bar so that you can look them up and decide if that's something that you are interested in reading or not. And then once I read them, I will do that in my wrap up for the month, and then I will get into detail about it and possibly do videos about them. So stay tuned. You have a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic day wherever you are in this world, and I will be seeing you soon. Bye!